Alrighty. Hello, everyone out there watching. So, my name is Lauren, but I've really been liking to go by Laur these days, Laur. And this is Elisa. And, we met. Plain Alyssa. We met in high school, and so we're dating ourselves, but about 20 years ago, became best friends, and then now she's my sister. This is my sister here. So, a few years ago, she wrote a book, A Shop Girl's Tale, and that really got us talking about mental health. And so we're just gonna talk a little bit about like what works for us.
Not pros.
Yeah, we're not professionals or anything. So we're gonna talk about our journey and how we got to a happy place in our life. So I'll let Alyssa start out.
Just about the
Thank you all for coming.
So this is A Shop Girl's Tale. Her name is Erica, and she works in a store, so she is a shop girl. But during the pandemic, where there was nothing to do, and we all had to kind of focus inward. And I realized that though completely fictionalized, especially the main character, it was this shop girl's tale, sort of. I gave her my anxiety, which I did not know I had. We were working in a toxic environment.
Yeah, big store.
And it was a store in Times Square. And I thought, well, I need a break from work, and I just need a vacation. I just you get burned out. And I went for my physical, and the doctor said, how are mom and dad? No, they're good. And how's work? And I proceeded to break down and cry for 10 straight minutes. Heavy, like Grey's Anatomy kind of sobs, like, and he said, okay, well, I think I need to give you a leave of absence. And then even then, it was probably August, I said, well, it gets really bad, a couple months off, I said, it gets really bad at the holidays, so maybe you can wait till November to put in the paperwork. And so Erica, I thought, well, every book event, I would say, Erica is a shop girl, but she's not me. And it was like I was distancing myself. And then he wrote the paperwork, and I got the leave, and then I tragically tore my meniscus, so I couldn't do the stairs, not tragically, again, but I never looked at the diagnosis, and he diagnosed me with lifetime general anxiety disorder, which after the pandemic, during the pandemic, in retrospect, I always had. When I was less than 2, I thought my parents, who were moving from apartment to apartment, were going to leave me there. And when I was 6, my uncle died, and we found out in the middle of the night, and now it's really hard to fall asleep. And it's a thing that I don't know what started it, but I know that I've learned how to deal with it a lot better. My nails might not be there, but my hands don't get wrong as much. And then I guess that sort of led to, she said, normal people don't. When she wrote the book, she was like, everybody doesn't really feel that way. Like, this is really good. Everybody's good. This is a really good character. And I'm like, I don't know, everybody who works in a store acts like this.
So then through her book, when she finished it and started working on it, we really got to talking about mental health and, anxiety. She has anxiety, I have depression, and we both have seasonal depression. So through the book, we were able to open that discussion for us. And that's like the great thing I love about books and all kinds of music, books, media. So that really opened the door for us to, grow closer. And I really think that's like, we were always best friends and everything, but I really think, about 5 years ago the book came, that's when we were like, no, we're sisters. We're sisters for life.
But that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We're sisters, and like her mom is my mom. I call her Mama. So I don't have a great relationship with my biological family, so now I have a sister, and she was an only child, so now she has a sister. So that's a little bit about us.
And it's sort of insane when you think about, it is, but when you think about the fact that we just assume that we're the standard, and nobody ever says like, do you react like this? I don't know who's parents, who's got older parents, but you all just assume if you're a mom, everybody handles motherhood this way. If you're a doctor, everybody needs 3 months off. Everybody has that thing where they are so scared to talk about mental health and wellness. They don't know if this is the standard, and they just assume, and it's hard. And then you're away from everyone, and you're left alone with yourself for 6 months because everything's closed.
Yeah. During the pandemic, we
were lucky.
Really looked inward. We were really blessed. We were able to stay home, and we live with our parents, so we were able to stay at home and hold down the fort while, and take turns going grocery shopping. So we were lucky, and we both really had the chance to look inward and really work on ourselves.
And take turns trying to keep 2 senior citizens from going outside and not understanding that, maybe you're that inside. Nobody who is 70 years old thinks they are in great health and still working, thank God, thinks they're the, most at risk. Like the beginning, my mother was going, oh, I'm still working, it's fine. I just go to work. Sometimes I stop at the grocery store. It's like, yeah, so you're going to all the places you could get infected.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting at home wearing my skin off.
But yeah.
We finally got her home.
Exactly, yeah. And then during that time, I decided to really start working on therapy, because even this was my sister, she was the closest person to me, and even her, I didn't tell her how bad I would feel. I would think about ending my life sometimes. I was having suicidal thoughts. So, and this is the closest person to me, and we didn't even talk about it. So then I decided we need to talk about that. We both decided we need to talk to each other about how we're feeling. You need that person you can talk to, that you can. Might be. That's okay.
I'm trying to shut it off. Sorry.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah. There's so much technology out there. You never know who's beeping, who's.
And with the not talking about things, like you said, I knew that when we were, 15 years old, her parents got divorced, or told them that they were getting divorced, and she took, a nail clipper or something. Well, she didn't matter, but she tried to scratch up her arms until she could hit blood. And then he took her camping, and her father explained that, nothing's gonna change, I'm still gonna be in your life, yada yada. I thought that made it better. I thought it was a teenage girl overreacting. I knew that my mother had been told by her grandmother that if it wasn't for you, Lauren, at that time she was still Lauren, Lauren would be dead.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, that's really sweet, and it's a grandmother's concern, and she does have a toxic relationship with her mother and biological sister. Okay, maybe she's just overreacting, but I never knew how dark the thoughts were. I didn't know that those thoughts didn't go away permanently. I didn't know they came back,
Yeah.
And I would nowhere close to that. Sorry.
It's okay. I don't know. This is a sharing space. That's what we're here for.
We, like I said, we would both work. It was the Disney store in Times Square. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
They're not gonna fire us now.
They're gonna fire me. That's a huge store if you've ever been in there. So they would separate us because they would think, well, you'll
be talking to
play around. Meanwhile, we
be
had
working
all life we travel there, we would travel back. We didn't want to talk to each other at work.
Yeah.
We wanted to get our jobs done. But around year 3 there, she started speaking in accents.
Yeah, I would do German, but I wasn't having a mental breakdown or anything, but maybe a little bit. I would be like, today I'm gonna be Irish, so I would talk to the guests and I would do the Irish accent because I always wanted to be an actress too. So
because she wanted to be an actress and practice, and she was very good. Don't get me wrong, she was brilliant. I mean, down to people asking where she was, what part of England She had been fun, you know? Well, part of Ireland, and they would usually have her on the first floor, which is tragic because they had no heat, and the door would open and the wind would come in. So she would be down there, and there was this one manager named Joe. And he would come up and he would go, I just love it. She's doing her English accent today. And I would be folding the same t-shirt over and over because I found calming rhythm in the folding. And I would just look at him and go, is she having fun? Because I would tell myself, it's not that bad. I'm overreacting. If the best friend in the whole world is having a fun time here, maybe it's just, I didn't want to work retail. I don't like it up here. I really like working the cash. I'm just having a bad day. I don't think about it when I'm having cash. My friends aren't up here. I've had annoying customers. But it was like, no, I was actually having a nervous breakdown. I would go in the back and cry, and our friend Brian would too, and we would joke, like, we go into the Elsa dresses and cry.
Yeah, that's our crying spot.
Yeah, this is the corner where we cry because there's no cameras there. We could just pretend like we were doing a check. But
so that was 3 years, and then
that was 3 years.
that's when the doctor said, you have anxiety, you need to leave. And that's when we left. That was, 2017, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I'm home, I need to rest. I'm going to start writing that novel I was always going to write because I was going to be a writer. And I went to school to be a writer. And unfortunately, that didn't work. I went into journalism, and then the economy kind of broke down and journalism started to die right around the year we graduated. And then we were all different kinds of things, but I was like, I'm finally gonna write that book. I'm medically excused from working and write the book. And it was not the book I thought it was gonna write. But it ended up being, I guess, the book that I needed to write. So
Yeah, it was therapeutic, right?
yes. And it's a fun, like, New York City romp. It's not, this is a book about mental illness, this is about anxiety. It's a very complicated book, like you would see in a movie or a TV show. Well, characters that are three-dimensional. It just happens to be that one character halfway through says, due to my anxiety, this and this. And you go, okay, all those little quirks were probably because of that.
Yeah, and I think that it probably was your way of, like, letting that out, knowing that you had anxiety. So
It was my brain telling me, like, you really need to get this looked up.
but